She's snatched today. I don't even care. If you don't think I am, girl. I forgot to put on highlighter. Y'all already know I'm going in with my favorite highlighter I've ever used, which is in the Swamp Queen Graveyard Girl palette. Ooh, girl. Who is she? Okay, my chair is squeaky, so try not to move too much. Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be on how to do eyeshadow. If you see the title, it's called Makeup for Dummies because it's like I was like inspired by like that book where it's like blah 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 for dummies, like whatever you want to learn for dummies. And I've watched a couple of videos on how to do eyeshadow, and I feel like they don't really go into the different types of products that you're supposed to use while doing your eyeshadow. They just say use this type of eyeshadow, use this primer, and use a fluffy brush and a dense brush or whatever they're doing, which I feel like they don't really explain exactly what it is. So that's what I'm here to do today. I'm going to be showing you different types of eyeshadows that I think are really good. I'm going to be showing you the different types of eyeshadow brushes that are out there. They're all going to be affordable brushes. The eyeshadows, the individual eyeshadows, they may not be as affordable because I do like high-end eyeshadows. I'm wearing high-end eyeshadows right now. So that is what we're going to be doing today. And I'm going to show you towards the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I got this look using the Jaclyn Hill palette, which is one of my most favorite palettes that I've ever used. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. The first things we're going to be talking about are eyeshadow brushes. Let's get into that. So there's a couple of different types of, I feel like my lipstick looks really weird. Let me fix it. So I personally don't have that many eyeshadow brushes. There are a couple that I just specifically like to use every single day, and they're just like a bunch of like fluffy brushes. I think fluffy brushes are going to be your best friend in blending out your eyeshadow. So I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite brushes to use when blending out my eyeshadow. And it's these four brushes right here. These are all fluffy brushes. As you can tell, they're not like short, they're not dense, but these are the four that I like to blend out with, like blend out my eyeshadow the most. Some of them are dirty because I use them in this tutorial. Fluffy brushes are meant to blend out your eyeshadow. They're supposed to like smoke it out to make less harsh lines. So when you're putting an eyeshadow color in and you go in with a fluffy brush, they make it like real smoky and light. Most of these colors up here, or all of the colors up here that you see in like my transition shade, are with a fluffy brush. So you'll see that in the tutorial, obviously. This one is a Real Techniques brush. This is actually a dual brush. And this down here, this brush down here is meant for more of packing. As you can tell, it's shorter. It looks more dense than this one. This one is kind of, it's like dense at the base, but then it goes out and it's like more fluffy. That's why they call this a fluffy brush. And then this one is short and dense, and this one really packs on the color. Bigger fluffy brush like this, I like to go over like basically my entire transition area, and more so just to like get on a lot of color at one time. So I'll put on like a bone color or like a creamy shade color and just like do big windshield wipe motions. This brush I use for blending out still, but just keeping it more controlled because it is smaller. It's like a more pointy fluffy brush, and I just use that right here, and then I just blend it in. And this one I like to keep clean, and so like if I go in with too much like eyeshadow somewhere, I'll just like real quick blend it out, but there's really rarely ever any product on this brush, so that's what I like to use this brush for. And this brush I like to just blend out the lower eyeshadow line because I don't know, it's just, I feel like it just fits really well under there. Oh, this is another fluffy brush that I like to use. It's just like, it's a little shorter, but it's still pretty dense, or it's a little shorter and a little bit more dense, but it is still really good at blending out eyeshadow. This is an Eco Tools shade brush, and it's a dual brush again, but this side is an angled side, and I don't use this angled side unless I'm like carving out my brows, which I rarely do. But yeah, I really like this one to blend out like right here. Like if I'm using a darker shade and then a lighter shade, I use it for that little area right there. Now the next eyeshadow brushes I'm going to be talking about are packing brushes, and of course this one is dirty because I used this one in the tutorial to pack on eyeshadows. So These brushes, this is like a flat synthetic brush. I like to use this type of brush when I'm trying to get like a cut crease. So I'll put some concealer on it and then cut it out. Or I'll even take this brush, pick up the shiny, or not a shiny, but like a shimmery eyeshadow color and literally just pack it on. This one I don't use that much, but that is for some things that I do use it for. This brush, of course, again, is dirty because I used it in this tutorial. I use this one to pack on a lot of color at one time, and like this one I pack on a lot of color at one time. And these brushes I use the most for packing on shade, and this one. I use this one. I actually used this brush in my last makeup tutorial for the what was it? The Halo Eye that I did with the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette. I used this brush. I put a little bit of that gold shade on there, sprayed it, and then just literally painted it on. That's what I like to use this brush for. These two brushes I pack on color, and then I also slightly blend out with them because they are more like a fluffy packing brush, I think. You don't have to use it for what I'm telling you they should be used for, but again, that's what I use them for, so that's what I recommend them for. And then this one is just another one that I like to use when I try to put on a lot of color at one time. I don't use this one as much anymore. This one is very, very old. I just kind of keep her around because of how long I've had her. So that's what I do with that one. And then you have your tiny brushes. These I like to use for my, what is this called? My lower lash line, because they're so tiny and so they can fit under there without putting like a color on. So these I really like to use them for my lower lash line. These two I like to put on the color, and then with these I like to blend them out. I also, like I said, like to use this one, but that is more for like the transition shade that I put under there to blend it out. These I use for like the darker colors sometimes, but I don't know, it's just kind of whatever mood I'm feeling. So like in this tutorial I used this eyeshadow brush to put on the darker color, and then I did go in with this brush to blend it out. Normally I don't do that, but that's just kind of how I did it this time. I like to use these brushes because they're like more thin and short and they're easier to control. And I like to use these brushes to blend out the lower lash line. So now I want to be talking about different eyeshadows. So when I watched the videos on how to do your eyeshadow, they just said use this Makeup Geek eyeshadow, use this palette for eyeshadow. But what some people don't understand, not every eyeshadow is the same. A lot of people just kind of chose a palette and said these are the colors I'm going to be using, and didn't really explain why, but that's why I'm doing this, to explain why they may have chose these certain colors and what these certain colors do. I chose the Jaclyn Hill palette because it is very pigmented. I feel like it was very worth the price, and some people don't want to spend, I think this was $43. I'll put the real price somewhere on the screen. I'll put it right here. This is the price of the Jaclyn Hill palette. I really like it because I do use a lot of these colors. The colors that I don't really go in with are like these 4 colors right here. I do use these colors. I like to make colorful looks and stuff like that. So that's why I like this palette. But some people don't like to dip into all these different shades. So something that I recommend that is affordable, I used to use this all the time in high school. This was my go-to eyeshadow, and this is actually the one from high school, so that's why it looks a little rough. But this is the Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells. This is what it looks like. These are actually pretty pigmented for, I think these are like $3. And I think they're really pigmented. I didn't really ever use this eyeshadow shade, but I did use obviously these 2 colors. And normally I would just put this one in my crease and blend it out, and then I put this one in my inner corner. These are actually really pigmented. I will show you on the back of my hand. I'm just going to take a clean finger. So that is the white shade. I don't know if you can see it. I'm pretty white right now, but I really do like this on the inner corner. It's actually very, very bright. Take this shade. And then it is a little shimmery, but it doesn't look shimmery when you put it on your eyelid. I don't know why it looks shimmery. And now I'm going to go in with this champagne-y color and swatch it. So they're pretty pigmented, and they're only like $2.98. So these are something that I highly recommend for people who just want like a basic eyeshadow. Like, it's not crazy or anything. Now, after all of that, I think it's time to show you how I did this eyeshadow look. My foot's asleep again. Alright, so the palette I'm using today is going to be the Jaclyn Hill palette because that is one of my most favorite palettes I've ever used. Oh, my nose is itchy. Why does that every time I film my nose is itchy? I'm going to be using the Jaclyn Hill palette, and we're going to start off with a fluffy brush. It just looks like this. And I'm going to go in with Silk Cream, which is just a nice transition shade. And I'm using the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. And I'm just going to start blending that into my crease. Now, this is probably the most used color that I use for transition shades because it just really looks nice with my skin tone. If you are a more deeper skin tone, I suggest going in with a darker color. I'm pretty light right now, especially since it's the middle of winter. And so you just want to take it, tap off the excess, and then, ooh, what is this eyebrow hair doing? And I'm using windshield wiper motions, and I like to focus the color on the outer corner. So for my specific eye shape, I have kind of more hooded eyes. Like when I just look at you with the camera, I have more hooded eyes, so I like to bring the color up higher. So when my eyes are just like, so when I'm not like raising my eyebrows, you can still see it. And so I don't use like a close-up mirror. Like I don't hold a mirror. Because I watched a couple of these videos already, like I said. And a lot of girls hold up a mirror real close to their eye and then they look down and then they do that, like start blending eyeshadow. I personally don't like doing that. I feel like it's just like too much and then like you're trying to do 14 different things with one hand. I don't personally do that. I like to just have my regular mirror and I just like to push it away because it's a lot easier for me to see what I'm doing instead of like having this close mirror and then looking back and then like keep going like that. I just like one mirror, just chilling. So that's what I'm doing. And so like I said, I use windshield wiper motions, which is where you just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. A lot of people like to do circular motions like this. I don't feel like that really does that much. I personally just like doing windshield wiper motions. And I just build up that color. Just like that. And the darker the color, or like the more color that I pack on, I like to keep it closer into the crease. And then as I go up towards the brow bone and up towards the eyebrows, I get really light-handed with it. And then I keep just going up and blending it out until it's really nice and soft. I hear my cat meowing and I don't know why he's meowing. Say hi. Look at my pretty baby. He's so cute. Anyways, so I like to focus the color on the outside and then I'll blend it in and blend it up and out. And I don't go all the way up to my eyebrow because you want to keep that clean. So as you go, you can blend up farther and farther. And if you go up too far, you can always clean it up with some concealer and like a little brush and then some translucent powder and you're good to go. So if you're someone who is afraid of using a lot of different eyeshadow colors and don't really know how to use an eyeshadow or how to build up eyeshadow, this is somewhere you could stop. Because if you don't want to go too crazy, don't. Like, it's up to you. You don't have to wear that much eyeshadow. I think this still looks really nice. You can add more and you can even add like a shimmery color right here. And it'll still, I think, look really, really nice. And then just add some liner and mascara and you're good to go. Like, you don't need that much eyeshadow just to look nice. You know what I mean? So now I'm going in with a smaller fluffy brush. And this one is just going to be for more control of the eyeshadow color that I'm going to be picking up next. I'm going to go in with Pukey. And again, always tap off the excess. And then I'm just going to start putting it in the outer corner and on the lid just a little bit. And I'm going to start bringing that in to the inner corner, but I'm keeping it lower than what I did with the transition shade. And so as that is being blended out, it'll look nice and seamless. And as you can see, I kind of went too high with it. I kind of just went as high as my transition shade. So I'm going back to the other brush with the transition shade, not picking up any more product that I already had. And I'm just going to help blend that out just a bit. Just like that, see? And I'm also holding my brush, I don't know, at the end. So it's nice and soft, because if you hold it here and start going in, it'll look really packed in and it won't look as nice and blended out. So you want to hold your brush at the end or like in the middle, but just not here. Like you're not trying to write nothing. You're trying to blend. Hold it at the end. And then as I'm trying to pack color on the lid and also on the outer corner, I will do circular motions. And then I'll blend it in. Circular motions and blend it in. Just to keep a lot of the darker color on the outside. And then for the other eye, because I didn't do it, I'm going to blend it out once again. And you don't want to move on to the next step until you have all of your eyeshadows blended, because then if you're going to say like I'm going to go back and blend it in, it's just not going to happen, okay? Like it's just not going to happen. Like it just doesn't work that way. And now I'm going to go in with the exact same brush I was just using, and I'm going in with Pooter, tapping it off, and then I'm just going to keep it even lower. Just like that. And again, I'm doing windshield wiper motions, and then I blend it in. Windshield wiper, and then I kind of like to flick it out once in a while just to give it like that nice cat eye shape. And then blend it in. Just to blend it out even more, I'm taking a completely clean brush, and I'm just going to put that on my crease. And then I'm just going to work my way up just so everything is just nice and blended. So this is why we put on a bunch of different colors. So when we are blending it out and when we're like, when you just look at it, it just looks seamless and it looks nice and blended. We're going to be moving on. We're going to take this brush. And again, this is more short and it's more dense and it's more of a packer brush. So I'm going to be using two darker colors. I'm going to be using Buns and Mocha. I'm just going to mix those two together and tap it off a lot, because I don't want any type of fallout with this look, because I already have my foundation and all that on, and I don't want it, like I don't want fallout, because then that'll just like mess everything up, and I don't want it to mess up. So I'm just going to tap it off, and then I'm just going to pack it on the outer corner. Next, pick up a little bit more, pack it on. And there's a certain way that I like to pack on my eyeshadow. I like to kind of pack it on in more of an angle like this. So I kind of start out here and then I go in and just pack on that color. Start out here and start going in diagonally. Just like that. And then we're going to go back in with this brush, and there's going to be nothing on it, and we're just going to start blending that out. And I know that it's still harsh right here, but we're going to fix that, don't worry. When you're blending out eyeshadows, you need to remember that it takes time. It's just not going to happen in two little like, and then you're blended, unless it's just like super blendable and then you're just like really good at blending or something. This does take time. It does take a really long time, and when you watch those like YouTube videos and stuff, they cut around that because of how much time it takes up. And if I were to leave every single second of that I blend, this video will literally be like 45 minutes long just for eyeshadow. And whatever is left on that brush, I just like to bring it into the inner corner just to make everything cohesive. Now, this is somewhere where you could stop. Like if you don't want to go any darker than this and you just really like the way that it looks, you can stop here and then blend out that lower eyelid. And you can stop here and blend out the lower lash line, which I'll show you how to do in a second. But I like to go just a little bit darker because I really like that really smoky, blown out look. So what we're going to do next is we are going to take a smaller fluffy brush. I mean, it's not that much smaller, but it's a lot more controllable in my opinion. And now, what just happened? We're going to go in with Central Park. And we're just going to pat that on the outer corner. And then I like to wipe it off. I just wipe it off on my pants just so there's no, just so it's like a clean brush again. Like, I mean, there's a little bit on there, but not like as much as there was. And then I just like to keep it on the outer corner and just start blending it out. And I think it just makes it just a little bit more dramatic. Because I love being dramatic. Now, with this same brush, I'm going to wipe it off again. So now I'm going to go all the way back to how we did the top of our eye. We're going to do that on the lower lash line. And I'm going to take Silk Cream. I'm just going to blend it out. I'm going to mix together Pooter and Pukey on this exact same brush, tapping off the excess, and then I'm going to keep it tighter to the lash line and more on the outer corner. I'm going to go in with a very small brush. This is a smudge brush, but it's just like a literally the tiniest brush. And I'm gonna go in with, again, I'm gonna mix buns and mocha, tapping it off, and then I'm going to just smudge it on the lower lash line even tighter to the lashes. My foot is asleep. I was sitting on it weird. And I'm just going to put that right there. But now I'm going to go to another clean fluffy brush, and I'm just going to look up and blend it out. That makeup face though. Now you can keep it matte and maybe just put like a lighter shade right here, like a cream shade or something, just to brighten it up, just to, because it is so dark right now, just to brighten it up and make it a little bit, you know, brighter. I am actually going to be going in with Obsessed, and I'm going to be going in with my finger. And then I'm just going to hold my eye like this, and I'm just going to place it right there on the inner corner. Or, yeah, basically on the inner half of the eyelid. Just like that. And I know it's not blended out, but we will blend it out, don't worry. And I'm going in with a fluffy brush, a clean one, and we're going to blend that shade out on the crease area, transition shade area, whatever you want to call it. And now I'm going to be going in with a flat fluffy brush. This one is called a shade brush, but I just like to blend those two colors together. And so right here, going in with Buns and Mocha again on this brush. I'm just going to be tapping it right there in the middle, just so it looks nice and blended. And I will even take my pinky, like, and blend it in. And now, just to brighten up the inner corner even more, I'm going to be taking a tiny, tiny, itty bitty brush. I'm going to be taking Enlightened, which is just like a nice shimmery color. And I'm going to put that on the inner corner of my eyeball. So now I'm going to do liner, lashes, and mascara, and I'll be right back. So that is all for this video, and if you like this video, hit that like button, and if you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Ah! My God!
What are you doing?
Filming a video!
Oh.
I was trying to film an So that is all for this video. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Does anybody else's thumbs go back this far? But I know my brother does. Daniel! What? Come show him how far back your thumb goes. Tell him to hit that thumbs up button with your thumb.
Hit that thumbs up.
Show him how you showed him.
No.
Just put your thumb in it.
No, I ain't showing no on my thumb.
You show your
That's my special thumb.
Daniel!
Daniel!
Anyways, hit that thumbs up. If you like this video, like that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. I don't know how to speak English. And if you have any suggestions, of what you would like me to do next, please put in the comments down below, and I will try my best to make that happen. And I'll see you cats later. Bye. 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 Okay, bye.